guys, and welcome to today's video. In our last video, I introduced the aggregate functions to you, and we worked on the count function. As I promised, today we're going to tackle the sum, minimum, maximum, and also the average function. I promised this video to be a very short one, and let's move straight to workbench. So I show you how these work. So for instance, this is where we ended the last time. For instance, if we want to get say the sum of, the amount of money this company is using on an annual basis on only salaries, so we can sum all salaries together, so we get this amount. So we say select sum of salary from salaries. We clean it up, control enter, and this is a huge amount that we get in here, and it's it's more than 61 billion. So this is the amount they spend on salaries per annum. And per the tip that I gave earlier on aliases, we can infuse it here again and say as say total um, annual, let me say wage. When we do this, Control B, so you see we have a total annual wage of this. This is how sum works. Now remember that when we were using the count function, we tried using the star, um the star to represent everything. Let's try substituting this salary with a star and see what's going to happen. Star. When we do that, in right there we see that there is a problem because there is an error message that we can see here. Now when we control and enter, we're going to get an error code 1064, and this tells us that this star um, symbol doesn't work with the sum. It only works with the count, doesn't work with maximum, doesn't work with minimum, doesn't work with average. It only works with count. So that is something that we need to know. So let's put it back salary. So we get back our figure. So now let's move straight to minimum and maximum. So we can also query this data together to get the highest earner in this company and maybe the lowest earner too by using maximum and minimum. That is going to be say select min from salary, the minimum salary. Let me rename it. Let's use our alias, or because we know it already, as lowest, as lowest earner from salaries. Clean it and control enter. That is an annual earning of 38,735, which could be say an intern or a newly employed staff with low experience. So we can change this min to max. We can just change this min to max, and then we change this to highest earner. We clean it up, enter, and we are having 158,220. That's a huge amount. which could go to maybe the CEO or anybody in a very high position. Um, so let's move on to doing the average. So with the average, we just also have to put in here AVG. That is the keyword you need to put in. So here's going to be average salary in the whole year for the company. So Control B, enter. So we have 63,761.2043. And that is how these functions work. As simple as that. And the tip I gave average salaries here as an alias. One thing we need to know is that when you per mistake change this AVG to average, it's not going to work. It's going to give you an error. Let me say Control B, Control Enter, and you see you get an error code 1305. One thing that says that average does not exist. So it's always an AVG. Always an AVG. That's one thing we need to take note. So average, then Control Enter. We get the average salary as 63,761.2043. Now, before I end the video, I'm going to give you another tip, which is an inbuilt function called the round. And what we are experiencing here is that this figure here is given to us to 4 decimal places. We can change that by using the round function, which is an inbuilt function in SQL. So what we can do is we can place this round. We can say we're rounding we're rounding the average salary. We're rounding the average salary um, as a whole number if we don't add any further arguments. So let me clean this up. So I have a select round of average salary as average salary from salaries. And when I do this, I'm going to get 63,761. And this is taking out the decimal places. If I want to say round this figure to 2 decimal places, I can also do so by putting in further arguments here and say 2. And when I do this, see, it's going to round the whole figure to 63,761.20. When I change this to 3, the same thing is going to happen. Control Enter, and we have 3 decimal places. So that is the tip for you, how to use round in the changing your decimal places and also rounding numbers into whole numbers. Before I leave, there's one thing that we need to note, that count works on both numeric and non-numeric numbers. Numeric and non-numeric entities, whilst the sum, average, minimum, and maximum only works for numeric entities. So this is where I'll end this video. As I promised, it's going to be a short one. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you some other time. Bye bye.